Welcome to the Black Knight Nation podcast. I'm Sal Interdonato. The Black Knight Nation podcast is sponsored by Higher Echelon. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm that trains employees in sports psychology secrets that drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army. He played fullback at Army. He also was an assistant coach at Army. And he puts that experience to use for his clients. We thank Higher Echelon for sponsoring this podcast. And tonight we have a special guest, Jordan Blackman. Jordan, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We've been wanting to do this for a while now. I'm happy to have you on, and just wanted to talk to you about your journey to West Point, what life was like at West Point, and now what you're doing after West Point. You have a pretty unique story, and thanks for appreciate you sharing tonight.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, beginning in my junior year of high school at St. Genevieve in Panorama City, California, actually had the opportunity to have a meeting with Coach Saturnio. And I remember him being in the conference room, and I got a chance to hear his presentation about West Point. It was my first time actually hearing about the institution, and didn't really have much experience, don't come from a military family. And so it was just a new opportunity, honestly. And looking back at it now, it was definitely, West Point was definitely where I was supposed to be. And now that I look back, I'm just grateful for the relationship I built with Coach Saturnio. And I think that just reflecting on it, I think that he definitely had a huge influence on my decision to go to West Point and to be a member of the Army football team, and just help me stick through it or stick with it while I was attending the institution. And I'm very glad. And the scholarship offer came in August, actually around this time of my going into my senior year of high school. So a few months after he had initially came and met with me at the school. And I thought that was very unique. We spoke a lot, and it was just about building a relationship. And I can tell that it was very genuine. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about football is family and just the team culture that was built. And I think that over time, that relationship just continued to grow, and I see him more as a father figure than anything. And uh, throughout the recruiting process, it was more than just football. We spoke a lot about just the things that I wanted to achieve and everything that I was looking forward to with my family. And I think that it was a decision that was good for me beyond just football, and it was something that I could help set a foundation for my family in the future moving forward. And I think that Coach Saturnio saw that, and I wanted to be more than a football player. I wanted to lead on a bigger stage with people that were going to push me to be my best. And I thought that West Point was the best institution for that, for me to set the example for my own family and to essentially just pave the way for young men and women from my community. We actually just had a young man from my high school, Camden McWright, who just got offered by Army, by Coach Saturnio at my high school. Great young man. And things like that are the reason why I'm glad I took the route that I did, because I just want other kids to know that they can achieve whatever it is that they want. And I think that that's what my story, my entire life story has shown. And getting to West Point, I committed on January, I believe it was January 17th of 2017. Coach Saturnio came to my house. We had dinner. We prayed together. And upon speaking to my mother, it was it just kind of felt like home away from home. And so I made the decision to verbally commit, and I announced it on January 21st, the day after my mother's birthday. And I received my letter of appointment actually at a visit to West Point in March. And I believe that I accepted it, if I remember correctly, it was March 25th of 2017. Very very specific because they were just very big moments in my life for me, my mother, and she was there on the trip, and I got a chance to see the football facility as well. And I think it just all came together really nicely. And getting to West Point, getting acclimated to military culture and just the new lifestyle was a challenge for me. And there are a lot of resources that helped me overcome that, especially my teammates. I think more than anything, that's what keeps you together. And as you go, and I think that's what makes Army football so special is the brotherhood isn't just something that you just talk about. It's not something that we just post on social media or anything. It goes beyond all of that, and it's we have each other's backs, and we go through a lot of adversity together that most students probably don't. And so I think that just makes us stronger. And my journey throughout was it was good. I had a lot of great experiences. I was a part of the leadership, ethics, and diversity in STEM program, uh, out doing outreach trips to Los Angeles back in my hometown, and I think that was a big moment for me being able to represent the football team. Um, to that magnitude, up to the point where my senior year I was actually the cadet in charge, and I was able to allow some of my other teammates to also be a part of the program. And that outreach workshop, just giving back and expanding Army football's horizons, and ultimately just branching out to the communities outside, and trying to spread like the culture that we have within the team to others. And I think that it resonated well, and I'm really excited because I know that we have a lot of great young leaders on the team now that are going to continue to carry the momentum of the legacy that my teammates and I left. So I definitely know that the team is in good hands with everyone that's there right now, and I'm really looking forward to seeing their growth in this upcoming season. And um, right now, currently, I'm here stationed at Fort Benning in Georgia. I commissioned as a second lieutenant, of course, and I am in the armor branch currently, and this is my branch detail, and I will be a military intelligence officer. And at some point, and I think that a lot of the lessons that I learned and everything that the knowledge I acquired from football, school, and just all the opportunities that I had at West Point kind of culminated and just came into this opportunity now, and I'm looking forward to see what the future has, and still have aspirations to play football, and that would be something amazing if I could play at the next level. However, I am focused on the task at hand right now, which is just developing myself as an officer in the Army, and I'm excited to see where that takes me. And I think that just looking back on my time at West Point, there were a lot of great memories on and off the field, and particularly in my senior year, which was I think a very storybook year for all of us, and it was unprecedented. We went through a lot together, and we overcame it. And I think we got back on the right track, and we were able to have another successful season. And I know that the team now is just going to continue to carry that momentum with the young leaders that they have.
Jordan, I remember talking to you, I believe that a night before our day, your freshman year, or maybe like a couple nights before our day, talking to you on the phone and writing a story about you. Man,
Yes,
time flies, right? Can you talk to us a little bit about kind of where you came from and like why your story maybe is so special with West Point? Because I know that when we talked the first time we talked, I was like, wow, it's just an amazing like story that from where you came from and now where you are now.
Yes, sir. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and I was raised in South Central Los Angeles, California. We moved around Los Angeles quite a bit. And around the age of 9, I'd say, my family and I fell on some hardships, and we moved around a lot until we were able to find a new home when I was in 10th grade. And it was during that time and period where my mother taught me to take public transportation, and just seeing her and how strong she was for my brothers and I. I'm the third of four, and I think she just set a great example for us. And she's a very strong woman, and I'm just grateful for everything that she's done for me as a role model, and just grateful for her and the example that she set. And she was always she was always so focused and driven in making sure that we were the same. And I think that that's honestly what fueled my journey through. And so we got settled in Lakeview Terrace, California, which is like still in Los Angeles County, a little bit more north. And I think that it was a blessing, just being able to have that experience and being able to share my story with other people, and knowing that we always had a lot of family and certain support that we had to help us through that time. But I really just admire my mother and my grandmother for a period of time, who I spent some time with during the course of that that period of my life. And just two very strong women that helped me become the young man that I am. And I think that for me, it was always I wanted to make them proud in the things that I did and just everything that I pursued, and just to pursue it with excellence and to continue to just be the best version of myself that I could be, whether that be in high school. I really worked hard. I was fortunate enough to be the class's student body president. I graduated valedictorian with a 4.83 GPA, and I was fortunate enough to be a captain of the football team and the track team. And I think that all of those things came together nicely for me. And um, I ended up at West Point, and I was able to definitely grow in my understanding of the game of football and how team oriented it is. I think that's the biggest thing, the most humbling thing I took away from the Army football experience, is being a part of something truly bigger than yourself. Because when you play at the Division I level, it's challenging. Of course, I came in a little bit younger and a little bit smaller, and I needed to physically develop. Also came in I recruited as an athlete, and I know. Remember when we spoke originally, I was talking about playing corner, and of course, I played offense all 4 years, slot back and receiver. Went back and forth between the two positions, and a little bit of special teams as well. And I think the biggest thing for me was just finding a way to contribute and to be ready when your number is called and make the most of your opportunities. And while it may not always be everything you envision, there's a reason why your journey is the way it is. And I'm grateful that it went that way. And I think that just bringing it all together, I think that my journey as a young man and being able to overcome some of the hardships that I did and being able to stay focused and to be grounded, thanks to my parents and just the lessons that I learned, specifically my mom, and just having my brothers, my two older brothers, my younger brother, and just always having that support network around me and the support at my games in high school and whatever I was competing in, and being able to even see my dad in the stands, and just always having someone there to push me when I was in high school. And I think that um, for me, I look back on it, and I'm just very grateful for everyone that was a part of that, because the love and support continues, and it didn't just stop there. And so I'm grateful for that, and really just thankful that my mom, I speak about her a lot because she really means a lot to me. And she really was superwoman for her four boys and always figuring it out, doing what she had to do for us. And I'm just very grateful for that. And I think she's the one who really set the foundation for me, and showing us the way, with limited amount of help resources. And we always had what we needed. And I think that that was the best thing about it. She never complained, and she was always there for us. And we always had what we needed, and we never went without, even through our hardships. I think we were always taken care of as best as we could. And so I think that set me up to be mentally strong, because, of course, everyone knows that West Point it's tough. It's not easy. And I think that ultimately what you get at West Point is it exposes what you're not good at. I fell on a lot of hardship at West Point. I questioned whether it was for me, Division I football, all of that stuff. And I think what my life before, if it taught me anything, it was to keep going and to never quit, no matter what circumstances I was faced with. And I think that just for me, it was something that I had to see through, and I had to make sure that no matter where my journey took me, whether it was everything I wished it would be or it wasn't, that I had to keep going and to take advantage of every opportunity and to give back and share my story and my message with my teammates and all the young players and young men and women that are coming after me now that'll be cadets and second lieutenants in the future. And so I think that that's what makes my journey unique, is that maybe not everything went as planned, or maybe everything wasn't what I envisioned. However, it happened how it was supposed to. And I think that there's a lesson to be learned in just continuing to grow and being thankful for every opportunity that came my way. And honestly, I'm just grateful for my background and the things that I had to endure when I was younger, because it helped make me who I am today.
Yeah, we were talking before the podcast a little bit about, you were talking about getting your message out to the younger players when you were on the team, and one of those players is somebody that I just wrote about today on our website, Brahim Murphy, and Brahim's now a junior slot back, and just talking to Brahim for 7 or 8 minutes the other day, you could just tell. I mean, there's just the maturity, right? And you found this out, Jordan, when you get at West Point, and especially like you said, you're a young freshman. When you get to West Point, the first couple of years are tough, but then when you get to that junior year and you make that commitment for 2 years more, you grow up fast there, right?
Yes, sir. Growing up fast, that's definitely the best way to put it. And I know that players like Brahim, just a great, very focused young man. Even as a young player, when he stepped into the room, he had so much confidence. And knowing his story and where he came from, there's so many players on our team that have amazing stories of where they came from, and it's great to hear those different perspectives and to see what everyone overcame, because then you see that you're not alone. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because that's what makes the team so unique, is that we all have a story, but at the end of the day, we all come together. We share that hardship with each other every summer. We all share our stories with each other, and we get to know each other. We have a very large team compared to most programs, and even then, it doesn't stop us. We're probably more the closest team in the country, honestly. And those bonds go beyond just your time as a player. Even now, the people that I'm associated with here, I have teammates here where I'm at currently that I'm connected to, and I think that that's just amazing that network continues to extend. And yeah, I think that honestly, the biggest thing is just always remembering that you have family, and that no matter what hardships you endure, like someone's always been through it. I remember when I came in, I was 17, about 163 pounds. I think I probably gained about 30 pounds over the course of that time. And it took me a lot of time to develop as a player. And I think that I always just had someone there, a mentor, the Kel Walkers, Jordan Asbury, John Trainer. There's just so many players, Chris Gregg, Glenn Coates. I could go on and on about the different players that had an impact on me and that helped me develop, whether it be physically. Like, we have great strength coaches. Coach Hughes is amazing. There's the energy he brings and how genuine he is and how much he cares for his players. It's amazing. There's just so many coaches and players and staff members that go, maybe not, people don't really hear about them a lot, but there's a lot that makes Army football work. And it's really a family, and everyone knows everyone. And I could probably sit here all night and just name everyone that's a part of this program. And it's really insane just how many great teammates that I have. And I say have, and I don't use had as past tense, because that's something that's forever to me. And I'm just so excited about the future of where the team is going, and that I had a chance to be a part of it, whether that was the success I had on the field, or leadership council, or against all enemies panel. And I think that there's just so many beautiful things about the team that are just continuing to grow, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you about everybody has their own story. I think that's what made it unique to cover the football team, right? Every single player has a reason why they went to West Point or chose West Point, and some stories are a little bit more detailed, and some had a little bit more hurdles than others. But I mean, you're absolutely right with that, and I just think that when you can get a bunch of guys that are kind of like-minded and have the same goals together, we see the results like last year where things were things were day to day pretty much on games, and you guys were still able to pull out get 9 wins out of the schedule. But I think more importantly, that bond probably even got stronger with the brotherhood during that time, right, Jordan?
Yes, sir. I agree. There was a lot going on in our country, and it was an opportunity for us to talk during the summer when we came back and navigating COVID and social unrest in our country, and just so many different things that we had the opportunity as young leaders to speak about and to hear different perspectives of our teammates, no matter what your background was. And I think that that's what made us the strongest. And um, we just had so many great young men who stepped up, and leaders that we have there now. I know while we were there, Joe Stevenson and AJ Howard, who's still there, Marquell Broughton. I believe I saw his mom pop up on the. I believe I saw some comments pop up there, and just some great young men that we have leading the team right now that have great stories. And like you said, that's what helped bring us together. Is that no matter what the hardship was, we. Hey, mom, and I think that that's ultimately what continued to allow the culture to grow. And it was more than football. Like, yes, we went 9-3. We won the CIC again, and we did all the things we were supposed to do on the field. But I think the biggest thing about this past season that was the most special was the leadership and the accountability that we had. Um, no matter win or lose, we were always back to work, and our coaches never, there was never any sense of or a loss of any confidence throughout the season, regardless of what the scoreboard showed at the end of a game. It was more about being the best team that we could be, not so much about who we were playing against. And I think that's important to understand, because coaches always talk about standards and making sure that those things don't slip ever. And in order for that to happen, you have to focus internally, and you have to make sure that you're driven in that way. And I think that all the things that were going on around our team actually brought us closer together. And we had some great leadership in those conversations. Coach Vidi, Coach Eternio, Coach Dixon, and multitude of coaches, and Coach Munkin bringing everything together. And I think that there was a lot of lessons to be learned throughout that time. And I'm just grateful for all the things that happened. And it was tough. It was a lot of hardship, and we endured a lot. Just unforeseen things, moving around a lot, and doing whatever we needed to do to make sure that we can compete, and we did. And we did it to the best of our ability. And I think that those results show ultimately. And looking back, just grateful for that journey. And I think that moving forward, there's a lot of amazing things that I know that are on the horizon for the team, on and off the field, for this season. And I just can't be grateful enough for that experience. No matter what hardship I endured or anything on and off the field, I ultimately took the lessons that I needed from the game of football and that experience as a whole. And I just now have a family forever, that's bigger than the sport itself.
No doubt. Can you talk about what it was like to be put on the shoulder of your teammates after you scored that your touchdown against Mercer, because that was an incredible moment for you, I'm sure, and just for people that have followed the program to see a senior who had put in the work to get a moment like that, and to the love from his teammates that he received.
Yes, sir. So that moment it happened really fast, honestly. When the play was called in, I was just like, oh, okay. So I know the ball is coming to me, because oftentimes we run the option, so there's. But I knew in that time I was like, okay, well, they're putting the ball in my hands. I have to make a play, but everyone sees the touchdown and me on everyone's shoulders. But that play was really the effort of every single individual out there, just going back and watching it and seeing how many blocks were made. Justin Lescaflair on the front side, making that cut block, and Cam Holloway out there, and just there was Lyman just getting after it, and Maurice Ballon just the perfect toss, and it all kind of just came together gracefully, honestly, and it kind of was a blur. Like, before, I couldn't even get up. Like, looking back, it looks like I stood up, but like I was on the ground and I was lifted up off the ground, and I was literally just trying to hand the ball to the referee, and then I feel myself. I'm all my teammates are grabbing me, and they left the sideline. They cleared the sideline. I'm surprised we didn't get a flag or anything, but I think that moment was more just about our team and what we stand for. And I was fortunate enough to be on the receiving end of all that love. But yeah, there was just so many great parts about that play that I think make it special. And it's always going to be something very memorable for me. And yeah, just the journey that I had as a player, being a bit undersized and being on the scout team for my first 2 years. And then junior year, getting a grade 2 MCL sprain, and the role that I was coming into, I had to kind of take a step back again and just find new ways to help the team. And then senior year, I was finally able to take a little bit of a bigger step and just do the best in the role that I had, and make plays when I got the opportunity. And the opportunities there's not a lot, but I think that's what makes our players special, is that when the opportunities present themselves, no matter what your role is, Army football players step up and make plays, and I think that's what separates us, and is what's going to make this program go to the next level with the players that we have now. But yeah, that moment was very special, and there was so many small parts of that play that just show the culture of our team, from the actual execution of the play and the touchdown to the celebration and everything that we stand for that happened after. So.
No doubt. If you're listening right now, live or watching live, if you have a comment, like Federica Daniels on the side here, if you have any comments for Jordan or I, please feel free to post them, and we'll talk about them. I got to ask you, what's it like? I don't know if you've ever been in the kind of the middle of it, but when Coach Saturnio gets all the players together and fires them up before kickoff, can you give us a little bit of a insight about what that's like?
Yeah, so that has cultural significance to Coach Saturnio, and it's very special. And I really do wish he was here to just explain that significance to you, and just where he's from, and from the Big Island, and from Hawaii. And I think that just for him, what that stands for is he always talks about being warriors, and that's very sacred for our team, because it's not just about like us getting together and just making a bunch of noise, but it stands for something, and it really means a lot for our team, and it's important. And I think it's another part of our culture, and I think that's what makes Coach Saturnio so unique, not just his job as a coach, but the mentorship and the love that he provides to all of the players. And you can ask anyone. Coach Saturnio is one of the most beloved coaches I've known from any school that I was ever recruited by in high school, or even at the college level, and always hearing people speak so highly of him. And yeah, there's nothing like that. It's a moment that we all look forward to, and I think it's just another symbol of confidence, and it's very special to us. And yeah, I can't thank Coach Saturnio enough for welcoming, or like just opening up part of his life and his culture and his background, where he's from and his ancestry, and bringing that to our team. And we all have just share the utmost respect for him for that.
Yeah. Just I remember you posting like right after I guess your West Point graduation or right around it, where you have the picture of him recruiting you at your house, and you have your picture of you in your officer uniform, a picture of him too. And I mean that just shows like how the closeness and the bond that you guys built right in those 4 years. Because some guys get the prep school year, but you went right into West Point, and I'm sure where when times maybe were you know were might have been difficult. You knew that he was a guy that you could talk to, right? You knew he was a coach that had your best interests also outside of football too.
Yes, sir. Coach Antonio, I'm sure everyone knows it. You can see it on his Twitter. He rarely ever talks about coaching or all that X's and O's. He's always on there giving motivational or tweets, but speeches and whatnot that have either cultural significance or spiritual significance. And I think that in itself is just a testament to the type of person he is as a man of faith. And uh, anytime things got hard, he was always there for me to speak to. Text, call, welcoming me into his home with his family. And I think that just the lessons that he's provided me about life, and not just football, because there may have been situations where I was struggling um, throughout my career as a cadet or family life at home. But Coach Attorney always steered me in the right direction and always just let me know that things are going to be okay. And it was nice to have that type of mentorship, because at this level, college football is a business. And but with Coach Eternio, it's family, and it's more than that. And you just you just see that, you feel that, and it's just the same genuine connection I felt. And I think that's what made that sharing that picture so unique. I was like, Coach, we have to retake this picture, because that's just how much it meant to me. And it was almost just over a 4-year difference in those pictures. And I think small things like that are just a testament to the relationship that we built and the relationship that we still have. And Coach Eternio speaks to my mom. And when we all sat down, the three of us at that table together, and we broke bread together and talked about my future, it never just felt like football. It was always family. And even as a player, and even now, there was just always that feeling. And I love Coach Eternio, and I know that anyone who's ever encountered him in their career or their life, he's made some form of an impact on them in some degree, whether it's very small or very big, likely very big. But it was just amazing to share that moment with him again, and with my mom as well. And there's nothing like that. I have a lot of great coaches in my life, and he's definitely one of those men.
Wanted to talk to you a little bit about now life, a little life after West Point, but maybe also the academic side. You talked about being your class valedictorian, how important academics were to you growing up, and at West Point, that's the highest that you can, one of the highest you can get right at that level, and just about what intelligence, if you the intelligence officer, right? I mean, what made you maybe look at that branch, and what kind of maybe courses did you take that might have steered you that way at West Point?
Yes, sir. So it took me a minute to find my way in that regard in terms of my major that I studied. I was an engineering psychology major, and ultimately at other universities or institutions, it's human factors engineering is the name of it, and ultimately it's the bridge between human contact and technology, and how to make technology more user friendly, safe, and efficient for people. And I was also on a systems engineering track, which ultimately systems can be applied to anything, and just learning essentially like the organization of systems. And I mean, systems, it can be broad in any way. And I was fortunate enough my senior year to work with the Army Research Lab for my main capstone project about developing a human autonomy team cohesion scale, which is a scale that calibrates and measures how you can integrate like robots into a squad of soldiers, or now as an armor officer, um, autonomous tanks or systems that could help soldiers. And Also in my systems engineering track, I had the opportunity to work with Lockheed Martin on a project as well, and that was really cool. And that was the digital twin. It's not a new technology. However, it's something that's, I think, on the horizon of being something that can be very beneficial for technology in the future. And my other capstone project was something regarding key leader engagements virtually. And I was fortunate enough to have my paper published, my individual paper, and as well as my group paper published, and for two of those. So that was awesome. And ultimately, I finished with being a part of three publications and being first author on one publication. And that was a great accomplishment as an undergrad. And I think my background as a student in high school and achieving at the level that I did, thanks to my mother, who was definitely very hard on me about academics and making sure that that came first. But it was just always something I was passionate about, and I knew that that always went hand in hand with football, and it was never one or the other. It was both together. And when you get to West Point, you have no choice but to elevate your performance, because now, being a valedictorian in high school, well, you get to West Point and just about every other student was probably a valedictorian or somewhere close. And so you have to reinvent yourself and find a new way to be unique and to excel at that level, because you have to continue to grow and excel wherever you're at. And I think that that's important. And being in an environment where people push you, I think that's all you can ask for, because you'll likely rise to that level of the people that you surround yourself with, and making sure that you stay prepared and do the right thing, and just earn everything that you want, and to go for it, and to not be limited by any doubt or fear of not accomplishing something, and just being willing to take those intellectual risks, and to go big on the project, and to give your best effort wherever you could. And yeah, it was a great experience. It was tough, especially um, my first year, especially after football season, second semester. I was a company commander as well, and those three capstone projects. It was a lot of hard work, and it all came together nicely. And I was fortunate enough to get it all done, and to I gave the best effort I had, and I just learned a lot. And I think more than anything, the lesson to be that I took from that was that I could really achieve whatever I put my mind to, and I had great support from my professors, the scientists that I worked with at the Army Research Lab, and um, everyone, the manager, project manager I worked with at Lockheed Martin, and just so many instructors that were there for me, that helped guide me through that process in my academic career at West Point.
It seems like the academic part certainly was everything you wanted, right? When you made the decision, you wanted to be challenged, and you were challenged, and especially like Jordan, me personally, I coasted through my last semester of college. I had I could pick whatever I did. I was a DJ for credit, I think, at the college radio station. I don't know. You're sitting there, doing three capstone projects, and company commander. Wow, the responsibilities there, right? I mean, certainly toward the end, you didn't coast for sure, right?
No, sir. I think that was another thing too, is just making sure that as a football player, or former football player at that point in second semester, that we also set the example as students, and make sure that we lead in every aspect that we could, and that we showed just everyone how important it was to also be a cadet first and a student first, as well as a football player, making sure that the two complemented each other, and that one didn't. It wasn't more compensation; it was more complementary, and I think that was important to show. And there was a list of players last year that um, took lots of leadership roles, and that's just something that's going to continue to grow from just so many people taking those big positions and stepping out of their comfort zone and leading their peers. I think peer leadership is definitely the hardest thing to do, and just seeing a lot of players on the team step up to that challenge in the core of cadets. So it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, and this year, right, you have four captains on Army, right, for the season. There are four on defense, and people are like asking the defensive guys, well, how you delegate roles? Well, everybody pretty much has leadership skills at West Point, right? Every cadet has leadership skills. So you look at the offense, right? And a couple guys that come to mind right away are Tahir Tyler and AJ Howard, right? I mean, those guys being at least I know for the vocal leaders, who can you let us in on the offensive side of the ball that are, maybe those leaders. They might not be captains in name, but they're certainly, are lead by example type guys.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of vocal guys who, um, like you said, Tyler, AJ Howard. One of actually those two young men were actually two of the players that I spoke about that were a part of the workshop with me, as well as Cam Holloway, Michael Roberts, and I mean Jabari Laws. The list. I mean, there's so many players. Can't really just pin it down to one. Everyone has a certain level of expertise, and even the younger guys, Brahim, Murphy, just. I mean, I could go on and on. There's so many players to name that all have a certain level of expertise or experience that is valuable to their teammates, and it's not, limited to uh, their official title, but the role that they have that they play um, in the locker room and behind the scenes, not just out on the field. When things are going well, but when adversity hits, those are just a few of the guys that continue to step up, and I think it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I think with Coach Monken, he's always done game captains too. So the senior class gets a chance. Yeah, if you're in the senior class, sometimes even some underclassmen get a chance also to be game captains. Did you get that chance last year to do that?
Oh no, it wasn't something I was able to do last
Okay.
year, and I think last year I think it may have been a little different,
Yeah.
but just because of everything that was going on. However, it was just a great opportunity for whoever got the chance, and we always, just had the most respect for whoever we chose to bring out the black flag or anything of serious magnitude. And as a member of the leadership council, like I was fortunate enough to uh, be a part of some of the decisions or the just the process, and just making sure that those who stepped up and they got the recognition they deserve, and they were able to be another person for young guys to look to as a just a model of inspiration.
No doubt, no doubt. So, what do you think that you talked a little bit about at the beginning? What do you think the future holds for Jordan Blackman?
Uh, One day at a time. Right now, just making sure that I finish the armor basic officer leader course right now, and graduate school in the near future, and not ruling out the possibility of maybe playing football again at the next level. It's always been an aspiration of mine since I was a child, and there's a lot of different things that I feel that are down the road for me. I would like to write a novel, starting my
Wow.
own nonprofit organization for uh, the youth in my community back home. It's something that's kind of still being developed currently. And yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm able to give back to my community in whatever platform I have, as an officer in the Army, or a potential professional athlete, or businessman, entrepreneur, whatever is in the cards for me, that I just make sure that whatever position I'm in, I make the most of it during that time, and just try to be present. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I definitely have some big goals and aspirations down the line. But as of right now, just focus on making sure I take care of my business as an officer.
Certainly a story to follow, and Jordan, we really appreciate you hopping on tonight to tell us your story from, Los Angeles area, California, to West Point, and now being a officer in Fort Benning. Thanks so much for the time, and we'll hopefully have you back on. Maybe we could put your analyst hat on for a game or two. We can have you break down some plays for Army once the season kicks off. It's right around the corner, September 4th, right? Are you going to be able to go to the?
Yes, sir.
Go to that game?
Yes, sir. I'm going to be there at the Georgia State game. It's just about an hour from here, and I actually have some family out here in the Atlanta area, and I'm definitely looking forward to that game and getting to support my guys and to see them out there as they continue to build their legacy now, and just to exceed what we did, and just to continue to let that grow. So I'll definitely be there at the first game right there in the stands.
You got to find Federica Daniels, Markel Broughton's mom. They're bringing the whole crew there to cheer on. You're gonna have to.
You'll hear out there, absolutely, and that's where Markel gets that energy from. It's just amazing. So it's going to be a great experience. I'm looking forward to it next weekend.
No doubt. It's like almost going to be like you never left so much for Army football, right? You can get that one more game in, so to speak.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Won't be the last.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jordan. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.